I haven't held my son's hand in 44 years. Last time I did, he was 16, he was high, and I was pulling him off a bathroom floor. You probably held somebody's hand today, a wife, a kid, somebody old, somebody young. You didn't think about it. I think about it every day, every single day for 44 years. So sit down a minute, let an old fella talk. Name's Robert Lee Jackson, 86 years old, Detroit, Michigan, East Side if you know the city. And if you don't, just know it was the kind of neighborhood where the factories told you what time it was. Chrysler Jefferson Assembly, rear axles, 19 years, same station. I could put a differential together with my eyes closed. These hands built a lot of trucks, boy. Now they can't button a shirt. I've had 3 lives. The first one was Detroit. Married Dorothy in 63, had Marcus in 65, worked the line, drank a little on Fridays, yelled too much on Sundays. The second one started when I walked through those gates in 1982, and the third one started the day my son came to see me sober. I killed a man in 1981. I'll talk about it. But that ain't why I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here because I learned something. And I'm 86 years old, and the only thing I got left to give is what I learned, so that's what I'm gonna do. Dorothy used to pack my lunch in a blue metal box. Bologna sandwich, apple, sometimes a piece of sweet potato pie wrapped in wax paper if it was a good week. She'd put a little napkin in there with my name on it, just Robert, in pencil, like she was afraid somebody at the plant would steal my lunch if they didn't know whose it was. That napkin every day for 19 years, and I never once said, thank you for it. Not once. I just ate the sandwich and threw the napkin away. Marcus was born on a Tuesday. I remember because I had to call off the line and my foreman was mad. I got to the hospital and Dorothy was holding this little brown thing, and she looked up at me and she said, Robert, look what we did. Look what we did. I held him for maybe 2 minutes. Then I went back to work, double shift, because we needed the money. I told myself that for years. We needed the money, and we did. But the truth is, I didn't know how to hold a baby. I didn't know what to do with a boy. My daddy never held me either. So I did what my daddy did. I worked, I provided, I was there, but I wasn't there. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean. Some of you watching this right now, you're doing the same thing I did, telling yourself you're doing it for them, working late, coming home tired, too tired to hear about their day, too tired to throw the ball, too tired. I was too tired for 16 years, and then I wasn't too tired anymore because my boy was a junkie, and that kind of thing wakes you up. You want to know how I ended up in here, I'll tell you. But that ain't the part that matters. His name was Tyrone Willis. They called him T-Money. He was 24 years old. He'd been selling my boy heroin for 8 months, and Marcus was down to 130 pounds. I went to the bar he worked out of. I waited in the parking lot. When he came out, I shot him 3 times with a .38. My cousin left me when he died. I was 42 years old. I thought I was saving my son. I was a stupid, angry man with a gun and a good reason. And the thing about good reasons is they make you stupider than bad ones. The first 10 years in here, I was angry, pure angry. Angry at the judge, angry at Dorothy for crying in court, angry at Marcus for not visiting, angry at T-Money for being dead. Figure that one out. I got in fights. I did solitary twice, once for 90 days, 90 days in a box the size of a closet, and all I did in there was hate. Then the anger ran out, just ran out like a tank. And what came after was worse. The middle years, maybe from 95 to 2010, I was a ghost. I ate, I slept, I went to my job in the laundry. I didn't read, didn't write, didn't pray, didn't nothing. Dorothy died in 2009 and I didn't cry, not because I didn't love her, because I couldn't find the part of me that knew how to cry anymore. I'd lost it somewhere between the solitary and the laundry. That's the part nobody tells you about prison. It ain't the walls. The walls you get used to, it's the numbness. The day you realize you've been walking around inside your own body like a visitor, like you rented it. The change came in 2012. Marcus was 47. He'd been clean about 8 years by then. He got it back together, real slow, one step at a time, found a church, found a wife, had 2 babies. He used to send me letters. I used to read them and put them in a box and not answer. Then one day he showed up, visiting room. I hadn't seen him in 30 years. He sat down across from me. He looked like his mama. He had a little Bible in his hand, and he said, "Daddy, I forgave you a long time ago. The question is whether you forgave yourself." And I sat there. I didn't know what to say. So he just reached across that table and put his hand on my hand. First time my boy had touched me since he was 16. That was the day the ghost thing ended, right there in a room full of vending machines with my son's hand on mine. It took 27 years in here for that to happen. 27 years to be ready to let a boy forgive me. That's how slow it is, friend. That's how slow change really is. 3 things, that's all I got. 3 things I learned that cost me 44 years, and I'm gonna give them to you for free. First thing, when I shot Tyrone Willis, I thought the drugs were the problem. They weren't. The drugs were the symptom. My boy didn't need heroin because there was heroin in the world. He needed heroin because there was a hole in him, and the hole was shaped exactly like his father. A man who came home but never arrived. A man who sat at the dinner table but never looked up from his plate. I killed a man to cover up a hole I dug myself. So here's what I need you to hear. If there's somebody in your life who's falling apart, a kid, a brother, a wife, before you go looking for who to blame, look in the mirror, not to feel guilty, to see clearly, because the thing killing them is probably something you can actually fix. And the thing you want to fight, ain't it? Second thing, I worked the Chrysler line for 19 years, and I thought I was a provider. I thought a check was the same as a father. A check is not a father. A check is a check. Your kids don't remember what neighborhood you raised them in. They remember whether you looked at them when they talked. I had a boy for 16 years. 16 years. And if you ask me today what his favorite color was when he was 8, or what he was scared of when the lights went out, I couldn't tell you. I was there. I just wasn't there. If you got a kid in the house right now, go look at him, not tomorrow, tonight. Go sit on the edge of the bed and ask him something you don't know the answer to. You'll be surprised how much of your own child is a stranger to you. That surprise, that's the warning bell. Listen to it before it's too late to hear. Third thing, and this is the hard one. My son forgave me before I forgave myself. He was ready years before I was. And the 27 years I spent hating myself weren't noble. They weren't penance. They were just another way of being selfish. Because while I was busy punishing the man I used to be, there was a man in here right now who could have been writing back to those letters. And that man, me, was hiding behind guilt like it was some kind of virtue. Guilt ain't love. Guilt is love that got stuck. And if you're carrying something around, something you did, something you said, something you didn't say, and you've been carrying it for 10, 20, 30 years, that weight ain't making you a better person. It's just making you a heavier one. Somebody forgave you already. I promise you. Somebody already let it go. The only one holding on is you. And the people waiting for you on the other side of that guilt, they're getting older every day you stay stuck. Don't be me. Don't make them wait 27 years. Marcus comes every month now, 12 years. He brings pictures of the boys. Older one wants to be a fireman. Younger one's shy. I've never touched them, probably never will, but I know their names. I know what their laughs sound like because Marcus plays me videos on his phone. That's a kind of fatherhood too. Not the one I wanted, but a real one. I'm 86 years old. Doctors say the heart's tired. I got maybe a year, maybe 2. I ain't afraid. I lived long enough to become somebody my son can stand to be in a room with. That's more than a man like me had any right to expect. These hands killed a man. These hands never held a grandson. These hands can barely hold a pen no more. But these hands got held one time in a visiting room by a boy I thought I lost, and that was enough. That had to be enough. And somehow it was. A father ain't what you provide. It's who shows up when you put the gun down.